Welcome to Electric Perspectives, a podcast that explores the innovations and policies shaping the electric power industry and how America's electric companies are delivering the resilient clean energy we need to strengthen America's energy security and power our daily lives. This show is brought to you by EEI, the Edison Electric Institute, which represents all U.S. investor-owned electric companies. I'm your host, Brian Reel. EEI's annual Thought Leadership Forum featured a dynamic lineup of speakers in conversation with electric power industry leaders, and we're thrilled to share one of the keynotes. Oracle CEO Safra Catz joined then EEI Chair and still Portland General Electric President and CEO Maria Pope to discuss the relationship between electric companies and hyperscalers in the current era of rising energy demand. Before we get started, I want to remind you to save the date for EEI 2026, which will be hosted June 2nd to 4th at the Fontainebleau, Las Vegas.
Good morning and welcome. This is a critical juncture for our industry as we work to meet generational demand growth and to build a reliable, resilient grid for today and tomorrow. As we all know, AI, data centers, and reshoring of manufacturing are creating new and exciting opportunities for electric companies, with demand the highest that we have seen since the post-World War II era. At the same time, companies such as Oracle are helping us use AI in innovative ways to improve our own businesses. These partnerships between our industry and the technology sector have never been more important as we work together to meet customers' new and evolving needs while supporting national security and economic competitiveness. While we, as energy providers, power society, and the transformation of our society. It is many of our companies and those of us in the room who rely on Oracle software to engage our customers, to run our operations, to manage our workforces, and to keep score by reporting our financial results. I'm pleased to be joined this morning by someone whose company has a long history of working with my company, Portland General Electric, and with so many of us in this room, Safra Catz. Safra is the CEO of Oracle Corporation and one of the most prominent global tech leaders. Under Safra's leadership, Oracle has been at the forefront of technology transformation and cloud computing and artificial intelligence. Like many of our companies, Oracle has pivoted its business to meet the AI era. Safra, welcome. Safra, Oracle has been around for almost 50 years. And you have been an executive since you joined the company in 1999. In the face of constant change, what are the keys to Oracle's ability to adapt, evolve, and your success?
Well, first, thank you, Maria, and thank you all of you for having me here. It is a true privilege to be talking with you, and especially at this incredibly exciting moment. The North Star for us has always been our customers. How do we make them successful? I always say, because what we make is invisible, and you too, the real joy for us comes in the success of our customers. And when you're always focused on meeting their needs and trying to think about what their needs will be, while understanding your own capabilities, that means you're constantly changing. The one thing that doesn't change is that things change all the time. And especially in this industry at this moment. And I liken it to being in a perfectly lit room and you think everything is normal and everything is just the way it's been for a while, and then a spotlight shines on you. And at that moment, and that is the energy industry right now, that is all of you, because for us, we have focused on many, many, many industries, but this sector in particular has always been its own sector with very specific and critical needs. Highest security needs, highest performance needs, and as you know, when you have a problem, the country has a problem. And that level of responsibility is something we shoulder. And so as long as we focus on making sure that we have a robust, resilient, and ultra-capable systems for you to have the best information and to have the most security, then we're focused on your needs, and those needs, as they go up, that's our job.
So a significant part of Oracle's success comes from strategic focus on enterprise software. You're just talking about the need for security and the responsibility that all of us have as electric providers. You also serve other industries, banking, healthcare, and of course, our own. And as security issues and technologies continue to evolve, what changes do you see coming in the future, and what changes do you envision for all of us in this room?
Because the rate of change is accelerating, and it's accelerating and impacting a lot of industries, there are a lot of things that really heighten your requirements. You see, it was okay to hang out on on-premise systems, on internal security efforts, things like that. That was probably okay for a while. But in this period, you absolutely must benefit from multiple things. One, the economies of scale of cloud technologies, okay? Because to really benefit, to really reduce your costs, you have to share, and you have to invest in many ways. Let us invest in the systems so you can do more with those resources than running your own back offices. You need those resources. You need to be a lot more economical on those uses and more performant. And so you can release resources to make the kinds of investments that you need to be successful. But what additionally, aside from the economies of scale of cloud technology, the arrival of, and really very capable already, generative AI capabilities, agents embedded in the new software systems, and the better information that you can have on whether it's serving your customers or handling outages or avoiding outages and seeing weaknesses in advance, those cannot be done on premise anymore. If you want to really embed AI capabilities into your enterprises, that is only possible in the cloud. These are enormous clouds that use huge amounts of data. For us at Oracle, this is the moment we've all been waiting for, using data to get better information to really help you all run your business. So this moment, very, very important, and it's going to be a challenge, I think, for a lot of folks to make the bold decisions of how do they move their technology to the 21st century. We're already 25 years into it. Time is now.
You spent a lot of time thinking about security, and obviously the cloud has a lot to do with that. You've also been on the Homeland Security Advisory Board, as well as the National Security Council on AI. What advice do you have for us?
Well, a few things. First of all, security is, in many ways, unless you have security, you really have nothing. And so, and we believe at Oracle, and it is, I will admit, it is part of our original founding. Some of you know that we were actually founded as a CIA project. That is why we have this funny, pretty obnoxious name, Oracle, all-knowing. Only our good friends at the CIA would come up with that name. So, and we kept it. And so what's interesting is that focus on security, when you are working for folks like that and all the other agencies, and of course the United States military to keep us safe, when you come from that, you realize that security is not something you attach. We don't believe that a good window or a good lock on your door is enough. We believe that security should be like a steel foundation, steel walls, and a steel roof. And in our cloud, every single thing, every technical decision was made to secure our customers. And by the way, just so that we're clear, I run all of Oracle in the public cloud. So we use and we believe in our own capabilities. And when you're on Homeland Security or National Security Commission on AI, what you see is that our adversaries very fully understand how important you all are. You are literally the bloodstream of the United States and of America. You are truly, without you, and we've seen it just across the Atlantic, when something goes down, for whatever reason, chaos occurs. And our adversaries are, in fact, often lying in wait. They have come in because of systems that are older, that are attached together, and many of which, as you all know, were not actually built to be exposed to the internet. And so all you need is one patch not made, one window slightly ajar, or even just unlocked, and they are with you. And they can be with you for years. You often don't discover it until either by error or when you move off and you realize, wow. And this is a very, very important time. You don't need me to read you the news. Everyone recognizes how you really are the critical, in the word critical, infrastructure, and you cannot overestimate it. It is imperative that you have the best, the most modern, because the entire country depends on you.
That's significant. And I can also imagine that your business partner, Larry Ellison, actually probably liked the term Oracle as well. So, in a recent interview, you said that whole civilizations survive or disappear because of whether they're adaptable to new conditions and new capabilities. How has AI changed Oracle and also the software strategies for all of us, and your thoughts?
Sure. Well, it's very, very true. I think anyone who reads history understands that adaptability and also harnessing new technologies is really the difference between success and failure. It is without a doubt the difference between success and failure for companies, but it truly is the difference between success and failure of entire countries and civilizations ultimately. There is no question that AI and harnessing it is widely recognized not only as a technical matter, but a national security matter. It cannot be overstated how different the world will be rather quickly. You can see it in military conflicts that are already around happening and how AI is making a difference, but it will affect everything. You see, right now, we think about AI as a thing, just one thing, but it isn't. In fact, to be successful, it will be part of everything. It is going to be a part of, and it's already, it's not only information gathering and entertainment, and it is in many ways like a much more critical version, much more important version than when you all, and I gave this example earlier, you all remember GPS. GPS was worked on as a military matter and came down to all of us civilians as a big box and then a littler box, and then it went in your car and then on your watch. And then, in many ways, GPS, quote, disappeared. You know where it went? Into everything you do. Every part of your day, GPS is just in there. Think about something a million times more important. Everything you do, how you deal with your customers, where you decide your sites, how you manage your projects, how you buy from in fact, you often won't be making those decisions of which supplier and how to manage. It will all be happening, and you will be reviewing things, but ultimately, we've ourselves already adopted it in our cloud operations because we have to remove human error and human mischief from our systems. And back to security, as much as I love humans, and especially my family, everyone makes mistakes. And it's very, very critical as these systems expand and get better and become more knowledgeable, you will see them take over larger and larger amounts of the work and they will do it very well.
So you lead a $60 billion company in revenue. It's growing quite rapidly, almost 50 years old. That's actually young for many of our companies here. Talk a little bit about how you drive innovation through Oracle and advice you'd have for us as infrastructure providers, particularly at a time when we're asked to do so much more than we have over the last 10 or 20 years.
This is the test. It is literally right now. You are deciding your future right now. You are going to be asked to take more risk. You are going to be asked to move more quickly, and you are going to be asked to invest a lot more. First of all, I think if we meet back in a decade, there's going to be a whole different group. Some of you are going to understand, and probably many of you, most of you, are going to understand that you have to do a lot more. And you have to find in your organizations two things. One, ways to spend less on things that are not the things that make you different. And find those resources to invest them into areas that are going to be critical. And I think the difference is ultimately going to come down to leadership and partnership. And both of those are going to have to be strong. You're going to partner together with your customers in most cases, and you're going to have to lead a very uncertain workforce to some extent with courage, with bravery. And the thing that in your industry you have been extremely solid, you've been consistent, you've been dependable. Now, you're being asked to be bold. Bold. And I've met and know many of your leaders, and I think you're up for it. I mean, my sense is a lot of you are thinking, kind of like the way Larry and I are thinking, wow, this is our shot. Take it. And we're taking it. And with some of our projects, our partnerships with some of our customers, got to have a little bit of courage, a little bit of faith, but that's gotten us this far. And 50 years almost for a tech company is pretty old in the scheme of things. And you know how we got here? Courage. Every time everyone was like, no, don't do it. Larry Ellison, I give him all the credit. Larry Ellison goes, we're going. Get on board and let us right through it. And that's what you all are going to do. And you know why? Because we need you. And this is, it's either scary or fun, probably a little bit of both. But boy, the scary part sort of gets in the distance once the fun really hits.
There's no question this time is now, and we need to be bold and have courage. A great example would be your $500 billion Stargate network of AI data centers and AI infrastructure in Texas. It's an innovative partnership between yourselves, OpenAI, SoftBank, and MGX. Can you talk about your aspirations for the project, and what are you thinking about globally?
As I mentioned, AI is going to be in everything. The part of Stargate that you might have seen already is literally the top of just the little teeny top. Everything else is going to start to expose itself over the next year. The reality is that as AI is in everything, and it is in fusion with already over 100 agents in our industry applications, as it permeates everything done, the capability to both learn, that's training, and inferencing, the second part of this, that is all going to roll out for OpenAI in our cloud, in Stargate. However, as much as we always want America to win, there are a lot of smaller countries which have very strong energy resources, and they're looking at themselves and saying, we don't want to be left out, and we want to be regional Stargates. And that's what was recently announced when the president was in the Gulf. And those kind of things, you're going to see a lot more of those. However, there are going to be areas where you're not going to see them. And you know why that is? Because they don't have you. They don't have the capability, and that's going to be a limiting factor. So you're going to see Stargates in places where you are present, where power is available, because once again, this is a very, very high demand period, and it is only the beginning. The fact that Maria mentioned we have over 100 data centers, and we will double next year. Next year. That's a lot.
So that's 100 cloud data center regions, and you're going to double the electric usage between this year and next year. And talk a little bit more about the pace of growth, what you're expecting from us as energy providers, the partnership, and also, you know, your thoughts with regards to clean energy, renewables, things like that.
Well, many of you have really led the way in clean energy, and it is absolutely critical that you work in a way that is ultimately the most reasonable to both minimize the impact on the environment, but maximize capability and availability. You are ultimately the gatekeepers in the availability of AI for the United States, and really for the entire region. And the reality is that when I think about what requirements are very, very soon, many of you know, I just finished my fiscal year over the weekend. Next week, I will already be announcing my earnings and for the fiscal year. And why is that? Because we ourselves take very seriously the ability to do more and spend less doing it. We run all our own products to minimize time and minimize resources to do them. And we've built our cloud, by the way, and thus our data centers in a way to minimize energy use such that ultimately we can do more and spend less doing it, and we can give that to our customers. The reality is, I won't comment about this last quarter because it just ended over the weekend, but I will, just so that you understand the sheer size of the opportunity in front of you. The 90 days before, which is my February quarter, as you said, Maria, we're $60 billion in revenue. We signed $49 billion in contracts for the future. And that's just the beginning. So understand, we're going to be looking to all of you to be able to help us provide that. So it is a situation where it's not that we're growing at a simple rate. Our growth rate is accelerating. And that's where all of you come in. And partnering with you, we want to be very, very open with you, very transparent about our needs, and work with you in true partnership in making sure that's available for our customers' use.
Talk a little bit more, Safra, about the importance globally for this moment for the United States. You have a unique perspective.
Well, we are in a position to truly lead because we have both the capabilities all of you provide and we have the technology leadership. Once again, the United States has the technology leadership and we will not squander it. There is no question the demand for the capabilities of US companies is enormous. Yes, there are some small players around the world, but they are dwarfed, literally dwarfed by the innovation and capability of US tech companies in particular. And this is a moment where our strength can be truly directed towards really improving things for around the world. In this particular administration, by the way, there is no question there is an openness to advancement. There is actually an interest, whether it's the Department of Energy or the Department of the Interior, for your industries. This is a very open hand. They're listening and open ears for direction for what it is, because they also understand the importance of this sector. And it is also a moment for all of you to really take the step you've been probably hesitant or waiting to take, which is it is critical that you yourselves are using the most modern technologies, because you need to, as I said, spend less and do more all at the same time. And the only way to do that is to harness important, autonomous, AI-capable technologies to move forward.
So we have a common friend who is, you've invested in her company,
Yes.
Ampere. And we have Victor Preng of AMD and Xilinx in the audience here with us today to be speaking tomorrow. In case there's any lingering questions about stranded assets as we rise to the occasion and invest enormous sums in engineering and infrastructure into the energy grid in the United States, any thoughts on how we should see more efficient tech stacks, chip production, anything that you would say that as we work towards greater efficiencies?
Well, it is absolutely critical that your underlying systems are not holding you back. And the biggest pressure is coming. I know many of you feel a lot of pressure. I've spoken to some of you about, sort of scheduling out more capacity and things. You cannot delay one more moment in making sure that your underlying platforms are both the least expensive to run and the most productivity enhancing for you. You are going to have to squeeze out every little bit out of your current capabilities, and a lot of that is possible by using happens to be our systems, to talk directly with your customers in a totally cost-efficient way. They save money, you capture capacity and direct it to where it's needed. But also, this is it. We cannot fool around anymore. This is our moment, and our underlying systems cannot be holding us back. And it is very important that for all of you, you have squeezed out the last bit of capability out of some of these systems, but it's done. It is time. And though we stay here to support you regardless, you're missing an opportunity if you do not take this, I can only call demand signal, seriously and really free yourself of the past and move to the 21st century.
So it's fascinating. The businesses of technology, of processing, and of energy infrastructure are inextricably linked. What advice do you have for those of us in the room in terms of how AI will evolve? And as we rise to this occasion, how can we work better with tech companies?
The best way to work is in true partnership. But in many ways, that's the most expensive. And when I say most expensive, I actually don't mean dollars. I mean the other non-renewable asset. You know what that is? Your time. The best way to be successful is to spend the time working together, first in a small scale and then in a larger scale. I have to tell you, for me, as thrilled as I am when you use my products, I have to tell you, I'm happy, really happy when I use your services. That kind of a partnership really advances the agenda. And when I ask you to spend more time with us, what it often means is share with us your issues, share with us your needs, share with us your challenges. There are other industries, since we cover a very, very broad horizon, and we have been focused on data and efficiency and technical efficiency all these years, because our specialty has always been using large amounts of data, running it very securely, very, very quickly, so that when workloads, the way we engineered our cloud was such that it would run much faster. Now, much faster is nice. When you say, well, that took 1 second, yeah, that's very good. You know what that also is? It's 1/10 the price of a workload that takes 10 seconds. And so you do more, you spend less, both in money and in resources. So when we work with you, we harness everything we've learned in our entire operation to figure out how to make you more efficient, but also share with you our needs going forward and all the AI capabilities, not only that we provide, but that are in our cloud from our partners, whether they're Grok from xAI, whether they're ChatGPT from OpenAI, whether they're Gemini, whether they're Cohere, whether they're Lambda. All of those are in our cloud, and all of those are available to you to run in your business.
So you talked about partnership, and we work with lots of partners, supply chain partners, but in particular as regulated industries, governmental partners. What advice do you have with regards to working with either state and local governments? I remember when you moved a lot of your organizations from California to Texas, and your comments at that time around state governments, but more in particular this moment in time in our federal government.
Well, this is a time to, as I mentioned, to really outreach and share your views. There is, I have a saying, my team knows it, there is no substitute for showing up. You are coming in at a moment where both really all the cabinet positions that are focused on growth, regulation issues, and ultimately making sure America and your capabilities are shining and can expand. This is really a moment to truly go out and leave the confines of our offices, and go out and make our case. Department of Energy, Department of Interior, trade, all the different areas, regulatory areas, they're open and they're looking for guidance from you. This is a period of extreme change. And it would be a shame if we lose the opportunity. Those of you who are able to take the time to actually spend directly with the decision makers, they are there to learn. Ultimately, for all of you though, the decisions about your companies are going to take boldness. There's no question about it. This moment is going to be a decision point regarding investments, regarding where you want to be in a year, in 3 years, in 5 years, and even in a decade. I can assure you, wherever you think you'll be in a decade, you will be far further. And this moment is only the absolute start. I think in talking with my technology colleagues, I actually have decided that it is firmly fair to say that we are at the very end of the beginning, and we are at the very beginning of this next chapter. This is a super critical moment. In the sports analogy, everyone needs to get on the field and really move this forward, because you're going to hear from me, you're going to hear from my competitors, you're going to hear from all my partners. Nearly every one of my competitors is in fact an Oracle partner. Oracle Cloud is in Azure, GCP, and AWS. And let alone understand, we are also in many of our customers. This is a period where using the best technology is going to make a difference, but ultimately, success and failure is often not just technology. It's about sociology. It is about leading and bringing your organizations forward. And if you have to decide, should I make that extra trip to Washington or to Austin or to wherever, just say yes. Yes, do it. This is that moment. And that's really, if it's one little additional reach for it. The reward is right there.
That's great advice. Showing up. This is an industry known for showing up and an industry known for partnership. So we appreciate the partnership with you and the entire tech industry on areas that are somewhat controversial, citing and other things that our society is going to have to wrestle with at a very different level than we have wrestled with in the past. So, Safra, if you were a CEO of a tech company, and if you were a CEO of an electric company, what differences would you see between those two? And what advice do you have for us as CEOs of electric companies?
I have to tell you, we are so inextricably linked with you right now that I do feel like I'm kind of in your shoes with you. And the reality is, as a almost 50-year-old tech company, you do kind of have the temptation to just kind of slow it down and rest on your laurels. It really does happen. Our database has more market share than everyone else combined, has for decades. Many of our competitors have basically decided that they're just going to take small niches, and ultimately, it's very, very tempting to rest on our laurels. So many of you are so incredibly successful, also tempting to rest on your laurels. Can't do it though. This is a moment. You're now. And if I were, I would be literally looking at opportunities to expand. You have to understand, and I know you do, the massive responsibility on your shoulders. Your ability to provide the power necessary for this next jump in technology capability that we are just now seeing, your ability to meet the demand as it continues to go up, that's going to make the difference between success and failure. It's now. I know many of you are actually pretty excited about this. Some of you might be a little scared about it. I get it. Imagine how I feel signing billions of dollars in contracts myself, but I know it's here. And there's no question, we're seeing it already. And this moment, you've got to take your heads up a little and look into the future. This is America's moment. This is the moment for all of our technology and our technology working with you all together. This is not like a hype or a this or, no, folks. This is happening. It has already happened. It's billions, ultimately trillions of dollars of investment coming. And we've got to be in a position to keep doing more and keep an eye on our costs, making sure we spend less as we can and release resources for those investments.
So Safra, thank you so much for your words of advice to us. Do you have any last thoughts before we conclude? Other than this is our moment now?
Yes, thank you. I want to thank you. I know what a privilege it is to be sitting in front of you. In fact, we have partnered with many of you for years, for decades. And I want to thank you because I know that we shine at Oracle in reflected glory. And we are so grateful both for the partnership with you and the time you have spent with us to help make our products and services better. I want to thank you all. Thank you for having me here. And thank you, Maria. It has been a true privilege to be with you.
Safra, thank you. And thank you all for our morning to dime. The insights you've given us are remarkable. Please help me in thanking Safra Catz.
Thank you.
That's our show for today. Thank you for listening, and be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, or wherever you get your podcasts. To learn more about EI's members and the electric power industry, visit our website at electricperspectives.com.